And that's where my suspicion kicked in. And so I literally was in my hotel room and was like, I don't feel right.
Hi, I'm Asymina with Narcity. How are you both doing today?
Hey, good. Nice to meet you.
Lisa, I'm going to start with you. First off, congratulations on the baby news. I know it happened a while ago for you, but for me, it just happened. So, when like Nick Lachey mentioned you were pregnant, like my jaw dropped because this has never happened on the show before. Well, tell me, what happened? Did you have any suspicions before you found out? When did you find out? How did that happen?
I had no suspicions prior to coming onto the show because obviously our lady days were supposed to be actually the first week while filming. Clearly, mine did not come. And that's where my suspicion kicked in. And so I literally was in my hotel room and was like, I don't feel right. I don't feel like I'm acting normal. I feel overly emotional about things. So I took a pregnancy test and there it is.
Yeah, and when you told Brian, obviously a bit of shock there. How has your relationship been affected by, the baby and the show and just the overall experience?
I will say, like, initially after leaving the show, we were in like a weird place. Obviously, it took a lot of work, but that's it. It took work. Two people who were intentional about working on the relationship, and we were that. And so now we are in a really great space.
And Roxanne, moving on to you, going into the proposal, you said yourself that you weren't sure what you were going to say. You would, see in that moment. What made you, because you were very adamant that you weren't ready to get married to Antonio from the start. So what made you say yes?
My gut. I always go with my gut. I think through the whole season, what I did is go with my gut with everything with Alex, with our fallout through the season. To the moment I said yes to Antonio, I feel like a woman's gut is the most important thing you should listen to. And I was like, I'm not going to make a decision until I see him and he asks, and whatever I feel in my stomach is what I'm going to go with, because I did not know.
And this is a question for both of you. How has going on the ultimatum sort of maybe affected or helped you understand what you're looking for in a partner and just what you yourself need as well?
I think for me going on here, it just made me more aware of what I wanted for sure, what things I'm willing to deal with and not willing to deal with in regards to my partner. And that has helped us because before we never verbalized like flat out like what we like, don't like versus, after the show, it's like now we are verbalizing like, I don't like this. I don't like this. And that helps your relationship move so much smoother. And I kind of took that for myself too, of like, okay, for myself, what do I want for myself out of life? And, having that come to realization even after the show. So that's ways that it has helped us.
Real quick, I was just going to say, when you're looking for a partner, for me, it was take out everything you think should be with a partner and just go with what your heart is saying in your mind. It goes back to the gut. For me, it was take out the checklist. And with Antonio, it was, he is all these things that I need and want. And I thought Alex would have maybe been all those things truly. I mean, you probably saw, I was super excited to be with the dude. I was. And sometimes you just got to forget about everyone else's feelings and what everyone else wants for you. Just go with what you want for yourself. That's it.
Brian, I'm going to start with you. So I want to go back to that conversation that you were having with Lisa. Walk me through that. Was the first time you found out actually on camera? What was going through your mind when you found out?
Yeah, that was truly the first time that I found out. As you can see with my face, it was much of a surprise to me, right? I didn't know if it was a joke or not, but like I said, I knew she wouldn't play around like that. But immediately within the first few seconds, I had to make the decision on whether or not, this is something that I was willing to accept and move forward with. But I knew, instantly that she is someone that, if anyone, that I would want to kind of bring a child into this world with. And I think, ultimately we had to make that decision, and that was the one that was best for us.
And you mentioned that, a baby would obviously complicate things. You had just gone through a lot. How did the baby impact your relationship and just overall, everything.
Yeah, I think the thought of it was like conflicting, right? Because it's like there's no way we just went through this whole experience of the time that we did, and there's been, you know, ups and downs, right, as you can see, and thinking that it's going to be easier moving forward. I think it was actually the opposite. Well, not the opposite of easy, it was actually the opposite of what I thought. You know, afterwards things got easier because we kind of looked at it from a clear mind, right? Being out of the experience at this time, to say that, like, you know, all right, we're gonna focus on the baby, but we're gonna also focus on fixing ourselves, working on our communication, and just working on that trust within each other. And it's worked out. It's been going well.
Antonio, moving to you and your experience on the show, you know, going back to having to make that choice on who to choose for the trial marriage. You know, obviously that's a tense situation. I can only imagine how uncomfortable it is hearing your partner talk about how amazing someone else is. What was going through your mind, and what was that experience like, having Roxanne, you know, choose Alex?
I knew she was going to pick him all along. I just knew it. I knew what she was looking for, and he was pretty much like the polar opposite of where I was at that point in my life. You know, successful business owner. I mean, more than once. He'd already sold one of his own businesses and was doing his own thing again. And he had this, you know, lifetime of experience that she really related with. And it was I was trying to, you know, gain that sort of skill set as we got onto the show and throughout the show and since after the show. So I was pretty scared. I was pretty dang scared when I saw that she had chosen him officially, and it all became real.
And then going to the proposal, you seemed somewhat surprised when she said yes. What was going through your mind then, and how has the whole experience impacted your relationship moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I can almost really only liken it to like when a cop's driving behind you. You may not be doing anything wrong and you know what the outcome is going to be, but in that moment you're like, oh crap, like what's going to happen? And I think that's kind of what was splayed all over my face. And not to mention that the first words out of her mouth after I'd said, will you marry me, were, I just want you to be happy. So like, I don't know what that meant. Like, especially in the moment, I was like, so you're saying without you, I'm going to be happy, or what are you saying? So it was nerve-wracking for sure. Since she has said yes, you know, and even before all of this, and I've never been more sure that Roxanne is the person that I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with. And that has since just been confirmed tenfold. So life is good. I've moved so far in the direction that I've been wanting to move in. I've become a business owner. Things are going really well. And the future is something I've never been more excited for.
Well, congratulations on the business and on the engagement. And just my final question is, you know, any regrets from the ultimatum going on the show, you know, having that ultimatum, either giving it or receiving it? What are your thoughts on that?
No regrets. I mean, like the term I think James and I coined was high stakes therapy. And I learned a lot about myself. It forced me to really hold myself much more accountable. So I think I'm a better person for it. I think my relationship is stronger for it, and I don't regret a thing.
Yeah, likewise. I would say the same. Definitely on the accountability part, I definitely learned a lot about myself, like really quickly too, and kind of had to kind of make that decision of whether or not I was going to continue being stubborn within my own right, or like I was gonna be the person for Lisa.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. It was a pleasure speaking with you both, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our Narcity channel to see more great content.